Okay, today I thought I'd do something a little bit different with our story, and I thought that's what I would do is read it to you today. And so I will also add this as an assignment in Think Central so that you can read it. But I thought it might be kind of fun to have me read it to you. So today's story is mountains surviving on Mount Everest. Okay. And so this is a informational text. It's going to give you facts about Mount Everest and climbing Mount Everest. And there'll be pictures, there'll be captions. Our author is Michael Sandler. Okay. Michael Sandler enjoys extreme adventure. He loves to travel and has been to the foothills of Mount Everest, the highest mountain in the world. Several years ago, while touring Africa, he got lost in the Sahara, the world's largest desert. That adventure might have helped him later to write Deserts Surviving in the Sahara. Other extreme books by Sandler include Oceans, Surviving in the Deep Sea, and Rainforest, Surviving in the Amazon. So if you like this story, there might be a few others that you could check out. So here we go. Mountains surviving on Mount Everest. Why do mountain climbers need to be well prepared? So keep that in mind as we read this story, okay? Climbing Mount Everest. The clock showed almost midnight. The temperature was freezing. Icy winds roared by. A group of people huddled in the darkness on a rocky ridge. In moments, they would begin the final stage of a dangerous journey. They were climbing to the top of Mount Everest, the world's highest mountain. Among the climbers was Temba, let's see if we can say it, Shuri. So that T's kind of Temba Shuri, Sherpa. Just 2 weeks before, Temba had celebrated his 16th birthday. Now, he was trying to survive in one of the world's most extreme places. Making it to the top of Everest was Temba's dream. He would be the youngest person ever to reach the summit, which is 29,035 feet or 8,850 meters high. That is up there, isn't it? It's pretty young at 16 to be the youngest person to try it. What are mountains? Mountains are a type of tall landform. They rise high above the area around them. Mountains are taller than hills. They can rise thousands of feet in the air. They are found all over the world, even beneath the sea. A group of mountains is called a range. The biggest mountain range of North America is the Rocky Mountains. The Andes in South America is the world's largest mountain range. Okay, so in North America, the Rocky Mountains are the largest range, but the Andes in South America is the world's largest mountain range, not just for South America. Mount Everest, the tallest mountain Temba was climbing, is part of the Himalayan mountains. The name Himalaya means home of the snow. This Asian range is the world's highest. It includes 9 of the 10 tallest mountains on Earth. As Temba approached Everest's summit, survival became harder and harder. Mountain conditions get more extreme the higher a person climbs. Air contains less and less oxygen as the altitude increases. Breathing becomes nearly impossible. Thin air can cause headache and dizziness at 10,000 feet. Higher up, it can be deadly. Humans cannot survive for long at the top section of the mountains like Everest. Hurricane force winds can reach 130 miles per hour. Temperatures can plummet to minus 100 degrees Fahrenheit. That is cold during the night. Blowing snow makes it so hard to see. Temba was headed there. So we got this picture. Frostbite can happen when it's so cold that hands, feet, and other parts of the body freeze solid. Frostbite can cause people to lose fingers, toes, and even their nose. So what happens with frostbite is your blood starts to get too cold, and so your body stops sending out, your body stops sending blood to those parts of the body because it's coming out too cold. So if you think about it, your toes and your fingers and nose are kind of farther away from your heart. So that's why those are some of the first things to get frostbite. Crazy. Uh-oh. Let's see if we went too many pages. Nope, the internet was just kind of slow there. Why do people climb mountains? People climb mountains for many reasons. Some enjoy the thrill of being high above the clouds. Others like the challenge of testing their skills. For decades, however, reaching the top of Everest was a test that no climber could pass. The first attempts to climb Everest were made during the 1920s. Again and again, the climbing teams stopped short of their goal. Avalanches, storms, sickness, and exhaustion brought them to a halt. Then in 1953, two climbers finally succeeded, Sir Edmund Hillary and Tenzing Norgay. Hillary was from New Zealand. Norgay was from Sherpa from Nepal. This is Sir Edmund Hillary left and Tenzing Norgay right. Show off their survival equipment in 1953. So this is what they took to climb the mountain in 1953. Temba's mistake. Temba had tried to climb Everest before. It ended, however, in failure. It didn't have enough training or proper equipment. Temba said he was almost at the summit when his oxygen supply ran out. Without oxygen, Temba couldn't think clearly. He made a terrible mistake. He took off his gloves to tie his boots. His fingers froze. Temba suffered frostbite on both hands. He had to turn back just 70 feet from his goal. The next time around, however, Temba was prepared. He had trained hard. He had the right equipment, thanks to his classmates and teachers. They had raised money for his trip. So, this is his survival equipment. He has a climbing suit to protect against cold, gloves to keep his hands warm and dry, goggles to protect his eyes from the sun's harmful rays and from the reflection of snow, oxygen and mask tank for breathing at higher altitudes, ice axe to help climb slopes and break up ice, climbing ropes to climb up slopes, trekking poles to help a climber stay balanced, mountain boots with spikes that dig into the snow and ice. Camp to camp. Temba's second try began in April 2001. Mount Everest sits between Nepal and Tibet. There are several different routes to the top. Temba would take a route from the north, the Tibetan side. Climbers move from one camp to the next higher one and then rest for a while. At each camp, their bodies get used to the higher altitudes. Temba spent several weeks moving between camps with his team. At Camp 3, the team waited for a break in the weather. Winter was over, but there had been a series of severe snowstorms. Getting caught in a snowstorm farther up the mountain would be deadly. So here's a map, base camp, and it shows all the little camps. The climb up Everest officially begins at base camp. Climbers stay in tents there so their bodies get used to lower levels of oxygen. So it's not necessarily they have to stop necessarily to rest because they're tired. They have to wait for their bodies to adjust being that high up. The climb along the ridge. On May 20th, Temba's team reached Camp 4. Then the climbers headed out on the great ridge leading to the summit. Temba plunged his axe into ice walls, pulling himself up. He steadied himself against 50-mile-an-hour winds. Yet he climbed higher and higher. Temba had to move fast or die. Darkness stopped him before he got to Camp 5. His team had gone ahead. Luckily, Temba found a tent. He spent the night frightened and alone. The next day, Temba rejoined his team. They reached Camp 6, one day's climb from their goal. So that was scary that he got behind and had to stay in a tent all by himself. I think he's only 16. It's pretty scary. Climbers have to be very careful. Towers of ice can fall over without warning. Climbers use aluminum ladders to cross deep cracks in the ice called crevices. The crevices are constantly opening and closing, so it's very dangerous. That's crazy they have to use ladders to cross them. Reaching the top of the world. Just before midnight, Temba began his final climb. A headlamp lit the darkness. An oxygen mask helped Temba to breathe. Sometimes he'd stop to rest or to change oxygen bottles. Just after sunrise, Temba reached Mount Everest's summit. He was higher than anyone else on the planet. Temba planted 2 flags. One was for his school, the other was for Nepal. I felt so happy, he said. It is dangerous for climbers to spend more than 10 minutes at the top of Everest. The body needs to get to a lower altitude where there is more oxygen. So, that is our story. Pretty crazy, huh? So, hopefully you enjoyed it. Again, I'll put a link in Think Central if you would like to read through it on your own. All right, have a good day.